Well, hello and welcome to the Astro Gold macOS mapping update, due to be coming out soon. And probably by the time this goes on YouTube, it will be featured, it will be updated. So Astro Gold maps have been updated to have more detail. And what I want to do is start by just showing you a little bit of how I do astrocartography and also showing you the maps in detail. Now, what I've got up here at the moment are the transits, and for the day, or near, no, actually, I'll move them forward. So what I've got up here are the transits, but you can also see that I've got some extra things in here. So the first thing I want to do is say, whatever you have on your chart, you will have on your map. So if you want the Jupiter-Uranus midpoint, which somebody told me was a lucky one, so we were doing a workshop, that's why that's there. And a few other things. If you want them there, you can keep them there. But if you don't, you come in here to preferences, to displayed, and we will take some of these things off. I like Juno and Vesta, so I'm going to leave them on there. We'll leave the North Node and the South Node there, but I might take off the part of Fortune. We're looking at these displayed points, and then what we do is we click on maps. And you will see that they're all along here at the top. Now, what we've added in here is the ability to really zoom in. So let's just go out of that for a second. And let's look at recently used. Let's look at Michael Douglas. So we come in here and we look at Michael Douglas, and let's hone in on his chart. So we come to America. Now, I've double-clicked to get to that, and I'm using a mouse so I can scroll around. One of the new things you'll see this little crosshair here? That is his birthplace. But those of you who are familiar with Astro Gold and the mapping section will see that already we have a lot more detail. Let's just keep going. We can keep going. Look at this. It's amazing. We can keep going right in to see where he was born. And this is where we're getting to street level. You can see where you were born, on what street. So I just think that's really cool. Now, what I'm doing is double clicking on the right-hand side, but what you can also do is just come to this little minus and go back out again. So I'm clicking on the minus sign that's in the bottom left-hand side, right-hand side. So see this little one here, this little question mark. This has got some map navigation help. So if you're not sure what to do with this new maps, here's what you can look to this question. So just to say that again, what you can do here is look for the map navigation help. So to pan the map, you can drag or scroll or shift plus the arrow keys, etc. So if you're not sure what to do, you can do that. But I'm just going to zoom out again and show you, because I'm following the sun. So I'm moving this map around and we're going into great detail. But let's just come back here because I want to show you just a little added bonus here. I want to take you to the sheets and the dignitaries and dignities and sects. So I'm taking you to the sheets and this particular one that shows us the essential dignities. Now, this is an important point when you're following any line around an astrocartography map. You don't escape your birth chart. You can emphasize different areas, but you don't escape it. So wherever Michael Douglas goes, he's going to have this Neptune sun line. And this is his sun here. It's -9 degrees. Or -9, points. So his sun line here is -9 because it's not in dignity. So he does have a bit of a challenge to his sun. So I think this is an important point when we're following the sun, because you are not going to escape your sun line or the outer planets on your sun line. So you may want to follow a different planet. And sometimes people have really good Saturn lines. So I always come here first to look at the birth chart and see what's strong, what's not strong. Up here, what's in sect, what's not insect. He does have his sun in highs, And I think that's important. I won't go into what that is at the moment because we're doing astro mapping, but I think it is important. It does give him a bit of a redeeming factor here. But you can follow any of these lines. And what I tend to do is I really hone in on what people want. So in this demonstration, we're looking at the sun, but just generally in astrocartography sessions, what I do is I ask them what they want. So if they're after relationships, they want to improve their relationship or they want to find love, I will look for Venus, and I might also look at Juno here, but I will also look at the 7th house ruler. If they're looking for something to expand their career, I will look at Jupiter, the 10th house ruler, which is actually, here we go, Michael Douglas. So we can see that Michael Douglas has his Neptune sun, it's Libra. We really can see that he was born with an acting father, can't we, really? And that sun rules the 10th house. So that's what we'd look for if he was asking for a career. But again, you might want somebody, when I moved to the UK, for instance, all of my 7th house planets go to my 1st house. And so my self-expression is great. And I love that too. So it depends what somebody wants. But just for the demonstration purposes, we're looking at this sun. And I'm going to look at several examples, as you know. So I come into the dignities sheet and have a look at that. But then we go to the map. And what I wanted to show you today with Michael Douglas is we can double click and we get into some real detail here. And we go right through and we see, of course, if he went to Los Angeles down here, we see Saturn's actually there. And that is an important influence. But I also wanted to show you that his sun, Neptune, to me, that is, yes, it's off the coast, but it can also be brought in as a weak or a medium or a strong influence on a particular city. So you can look at the report, which we'll look at later, and we will see whether that's a strong or weak or medium influence. So let's have a look at, let's see if I've kept her here, Queen Elizabeth. There she is, the Queen of England. The Queen of England. So let's have a look at, first of all, we go to her sheets. We look at here and we see again, not a strong sun. She's got Chiron there. Now, it's up to you whether you include some of these outer things or if you don't. Some of the asteroids, etc., like I have put in here. But so the Chiron and the sun is there. That's interesting because, there was that talk about whether she really wanted to shine. But let's have a look at over here. We go to the sun. It's -5. But we get an idea of this sun before we follow it. So we look at whether is it a good thing for her to be following her sun or not. Not too bad at all. So let's look at her chart and let's look at where is the sun. So let's just go here. Oh, we see that as part of the Commonwealth, the sun and the Chiron are very, very close to Australia, and I would say they are close to the main city. And look, we do have Vesta going through there. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, what that means, but we see the node, we see the sun, and we see there's an influence. Now, if you're wondering, if you're really, I'm sure I have astrologers here of all types of experience, from beginners to experienced. If you're experienced, you'll know what these lines are. They're the Paran lines. So I would, if I was following the sun, also look at where the Paran lines of Sun Pluto or Sun Saturn, etc. go. But these are the Paran lines. And these ones here are the astrocartography lines. And so just to explain, the ones going down like this, which are solid, are culminating or on the midheaven. The ones that are down the bottom, so here we've got one, Saturn, anti-culminating on the IC. Then we have ones, and they're dotted, and they're annotated, as we call it, at the bottom of the map. The ones coming up here and solid are on the ascendant. So that's the North Node rising. And then we've got one here, yes, Saturn setting. So on the descendant or setting. As you see, when I click on them, you do get quite comprehensive interpretations. We are constantly working, I am, on the interpretations, and you can see they go like a good interpretation for you. So we look at the reports in a minute, but first of all, we'll just do one more example. And this is a recently used list. You've seen this before. And we've got Nicole Kidman. So we look at Nicole, and again, you would look at the natal position of the sun to see, and you would ask what they want, what they're asking for. But for the sake of this demonstration, we are looking at the sun. So let's go back to sheets. Let's look at the dignities. We've got the sun there. We've got a sun in Vedic zodiacal condition here at +4. So her sun's in Gemini. It's in the 8th house. So it makes her, I think people with anything in the 8th house, they can be quite industrious. And I think she is quite good at utilizing resources. So we look at this sun that's in quite good condition. But I thought this is one that I actually found particularly interesting, because if you take the map and, hang on, let's just see. So let's just go back out again just for a minute. So here we are. She was born in Honolulu. But if we go across, we can hold the map, see the little hand that comes up and go across. And we go across to Tennessee and we hone in on Nashville. The sun goes through Nashville and Mars on the ascendant. And this is the sun on the descendant. So if you're wondering, well, how do I know what to do or whether that's strong or not strong, you can come and you can do a report. So if you do a report and you come up here, click on report, and you can do natal, home, or other. And I've done other for Nashville, which is, of course, where Keith Urban is, and she lives now. So get rid of that. And here's your relocation report. And you can do this for any place. So you've got your introduction. And here we go. The sun setting through Nashville. And it's a strong influence. So what I was saying earlier was this report will tell you if something is strong, weak, or medium based on the orb. So based on how far the lines are from the place of interest. So here it's strong. And you can see here, if you're reading it at all, relationships take on profound importance along this line. Also business partnerships. And then we see that Mars culminating is a strong influence as well. So she's pretty ambitious when she's there as well. And then we start to see how it's saying this is Saturn on the IC. Now Saturn on the IC, when I first started doing astrocartography, it was seen that you didn't go to a Saturn line or you didn't go to a Pluto line, but that's not necessarily true. If you've got a good Saturn, or if you're wanting to really, really settle down somewhere, then Saturn can be good. It can create difficulties, but if you're there for the long haul, and if you're like me and you've got a strong Saturn in your chart, then you know that the rewards for Saturn are very, very rich if you stick at something, if you persist. So here we go. That's no planetary direction lines. I haven't looked at them, but I can show them just quickly. And I thought this was interesting too. The planet Paran lines. You'll get these in the reports and you can have them on your map if you want. This combination brings powerful karmic connections into your life, of course. And then we go on. So that's the report for Nicole Kidman. But just look at these lines as well. So I'll just zoom out again a little bit. One of the things I want to show you up here is some of the options. So you've seen how I'm kind of really honing in and honing out. And those of you who've already been using this astrocartography will really appreciate all the extra detail that's come in and how you can zoom in and zoom out. Now, if you have Astro Gold, if you have macOS Big Sur 11, and more recent, you'll be fine. But if you have one older, it will switch to offline charts, offline maps. So this is relying on online connection. So you've got your chart up here, but you've got your map style. And see here it says offline and world labels. You can have country, city, etc. But I'll just show you the other. You'll see this online sometimes, the satellite view. I don't use it very often, but you can see that that's a different map style. Some people do like that. But what I want to show you now are the lines. So I've had it obviously on aspects before, but let's start with the points. So here we go. I use Imundo, and I've been showing you the astrocartography lines, but you can also turn on your local space lines and really hone in. So let's just do that while we're here. I will take these off. You just click them off and click on local space lines. And we will go back to this. See, I should have done this to find Honolulu, shouldn't I? So look, this is her birthplace. So this is these are the local space lines for her birthplace. And if you want to follow the sun, I put mine as orange. You can really hone in. Let's have a look. Wow, look at this on AstroCart on this new mapping season. I hope you're all as excited as I am by this. So we can really hone into your street and look at here. We follow the sun line for the local space. And you can also relocate. So if you want to relocate it to Nashville, let's do that. We relocate. And you can see it's gone from this map. So I'm clicking on that little thing to hone out again. Then we'll go to where I am. We'll go out a bit more. And then we'll go just into Nashville. And see how you can start to look at the lines in great detail. You can do this yourself. You can actually put in the address that you want to go to and have a look and see where your sun line is, where you really want to shine, where your Venus line is, if you want to go to the spa or do something beautiful. You've got the idea anyway of how you follow your lines. So this is where Nicole Kidman can really, and you can really look in. And some people use local space even for, over a plan of a house. But look how detailed that is as we get into the actual streets. And, do you want to go to your hairdresser where Mars is, or maybe Mercury if you're wanting a chat as well? Your local merchants you would find along your Mercury line. Perhaps if you're wanting to do something that expands your reputation, your Jupiter line can really hone in to great detail in these latest maps. So we'll go to the lines. That's the planet direction lines. I'm going to put it back onto the astrocartography and show you the other options that you've got here. So you've got parans. You can put the paran of only one point if you want. So just the parans of the moon, or you can put all of them as I've got them there. And then there's the aspects. You can actually add aspects in. Now, I suggest you only do this when you're actually honed in, because otherwise you're going to have lines all over the map. So you just see what's going on here. You just go out a bit more and a bit more. And then you start to see, you can see that this is Pluto, and as it's a curved line and it's solid, it's Pluto trine the ascendant. Here's Juno trine the ascendant. And then we've got Mars trine the descendant. And if we look down here, we see Venus trine the IC. So you can really go into great detail on these maps, not just with the cities and the countries and the roads, but you can start to really do a deep dive into your astrocartography as well. And here we see that sun. I just think that's amazing. Sun on the descendant through Tennessee and Nashville so strongly. So I think I've showed you a lot of things. We've been here for about half an hour. Let me just see if there's anything else. Oh, eclipses. If you want to put the eclipses on, we'll have a quick look at that. But I'm giving you, see how as you zoom out, you're going to, if you have the aspects on, if you zoom out and you have the aspects on, you're going to get a lot of lines. So it's probably a good idea to actually take that off. And of course, you can include, well, let's just show you. You can include all sorts. If you're wanting to really hone in on a place for yourself, you can do this to predict, to look where you want to go. You can also look at it in hindsight and go, well, I love that place. Why did I love it? Or why did I not like it? And it's not just because, say, a particular planet, it's not your favorite planet, is going through a place. It could be one of these aspects. Anyway, I'm going to end this demonstration here, and thank you very much for your time.